So you guys have solved one-step equations like this, x plus 4 equals 6. We want to isolate the x, get x all by itself. To do that, I have to get rid of this plus 4. So I take away 4 from both sides. 6 take away 4 is 2. And then we did a two-step equation. That's called a one-step because all you do is add or subtract something from both sides. Now we have something more like a two-step equation, right? Where the first thing we're going to do is take away 4 from both sides. Those cancel out. 6 take away 4 is 2. But we have to bring down the two x's because we have to divide, because this means multiply times x. So we're going to divide both sides by 2. Sorry, I meant 2 when I said that. This means multiply a 2 and an x. We have to undo the 2. We want x by itself at the end, right? So x equals 2 divided by 2 is 1. So that's a one-step and a two-step. Now we have one where it's a little bit different than even this because there's an x, a bunch of x's on this side and a bunch of x's on this side. So watch how we do this. We pick a side for the x's, and we kind of started doing this last week. I like to put this here so I can clearly see this side of an equal sign and that side of an equal sign. I want to keep the x's on the side where I have the most x's. And then I want to look at this and I want to say, oh, well, if I only want x's over here, I don't want this number over here. So I'm going to undo it. So I'm going to add 16 to this side and add 16 to this side. And then you're going to look at it and you're going to be like, oh, I only want numbers on this side. I don't want letters. These are two x's. I don't want these two x's because the x's go over on this side. So I'm going to undo my two x's by taking away two x's from both sides. Be super careful about that. We're not dividing by anything. We're taking away all the x's. I had two x's. I'm taking away two x's from both sides. Now we can go through and do all the math. These cross out. A 4 and a 16 is 20. 8 x's take away 2 x's is 6 x's. And then these crossed out. Now is when we divide because we want to get x by itself. I see what's attached to the x and I divide both sides by that. And my answer to this is 20 over 6. And you can just leave your answer like that if you get, this would be a decimal if you divided it. Okay. Yeah, I want to start working with you guys with negative numbers and fractions. So this is how I would leave this, or you could simplify this, right? How do you simplify 20 over 6? Well, you can divide it. 6 goes into 23 times. Multiply. 20 take away 18 is 2. 3 and 2, you can use this as your denominator. 2/6. If I want to reduce 2/6, it ends up being 1/3. So the answer is 3 and 1/3. Or you can just keep it like this if you have a fraction. Okay, I'm really not focusing on this right now. I'm focusing on how to solve this. So pick a side for x. Pick a side for your numbers. Pick the side that has the most x's to keep your x's on this side. Look on the side where your x's are and say, oh, I don't want these numbers here because I only want x's. So undo these negative 16s on both sides. Then look at your other side of your equation and say, oh, I only want these numbers here. I don't want letters. So undo this plus 2x. This just means I have two x's, so we're taking away two x's. Take away two x's from both sides. Now go through and do all the math. These cross out because it's a plus 2x and a minus 2x. I add these together. 8x take away 2x's is 6x's. These cross out. And then I have to go back in here and see what's attached to the x. Divide both sides by 6. If you want to reduce it, fine. Okay, I don't think any of yours have fractions in them.